Hey watercolor wizards, gouache geeks, and inklings, Hajra here. In this case, I was reading a history book about Edmond Dulac, and he had this method of stacking his sketches on sheer paper and then reusing his sketches over and over and over again. And what he would be able to do is then save them, right? Save and reuse the sketches. So if you like a face or an eye or a tree, I mean, he would do this all the time because he did these amazing Golden Age illustration fairy tales along with Arthur Rackham. They were the two big competitors with each other in the turn of the century Golden Age. And he would save and reuse some of these things because there was so much demand to go fast. So you see a tree in one background and see the same tree in another background, except for maybe flipped over or moved to another part of the scene. And that was a great way to actually draw something and then not waste it. Okay, you have it on a separate piece of paper. And as a result of that, you can rotate and you can flip, right? And you can move it around and you can find the best placement by being able to save these sketches, reuse them by layering, flipping, rotating, and moving them. It's like a manual Photoshop, and it's going to really help you with your composition. It's going to make it strong and more graceful, and it's time saving, and it also gives you varied layout trials, okay, so that you can not only reuse your sketch in case of a mishap or cover up while you're painting, so it reduces your panic as well. So here's my sketch that I did of that DVS bear. So I wanted to change the placement of the DVS logo. And down here I wasn't sure if I wanted the constellations to be all over or if I wanted them just to be in one area. Because over here I could see that this was too packed. So I basically randomly put in the constellations afterward, and having this on separate paper really helped me versus messing it up over here. And same thing for the headband. I tried the circle, I didn't like it, I erased it, and I tried the little squigglies, I like that. I tried a few different demos over here, and it really helps me to have this basic sketch that I can transfer and reuse. And suppose I had messed up horribly on this bear, I can actually reuse them. Suppose I wanted to do two bears, I could flip them over and have them in a different direction or in another scene, you know? So if I ever own any sheer paper, it's not for tracing, it's for all of my sketches, just like Edmond Dulac. And I would pass that on as an inherited tradition to you too, because I really just find it so super valuable. And I did one sketch on sheer paper, finding just the major lines and highlights of this pepper. And then I was able to rotate it and also flip it, see? So I was able to do that, and it helped me find the best composition on my paper versus maybe drawing this pepper here, and then when I went to go and draw this one, it got drawn over here, and then I have to erase the whole thing. See how that can really save me a lot of time and also not mess up my watercolor paper. So this is a method in and of itself, okay? This sketch stacking, it's invaluable. It'll speed you up even if you're not using something like Photoshop and you're a traditional artist like me. It'll really make it so you have these old masters tools so that he actually based digital Photoshop off of all of this type of sketch stacking that people have done for many centuries. A piece that I haven't finished that I was doing of a old style Santa from the 30s, and I did it in gouache for as far as I got, and again I did my sketch on a separate piece of paper. And you can see that in this case I only found the major lines when I was doing all the sketch lines. You can make your sketch as refined or as simple as you want. I find only the major lines, other times I develop it more, but the more you develop it, the more you'll have to transfer over, okay? So that's up to you. I did all of these balls separately, I did all of the gnomes separately, and it helped me find the placement of these different balls without having to draw them on the paper and erase them over and over again. And clearly this is another not finished piece, but when I finish it, I know that I liked the harmonious placement. So I did a Carolina parakeet, and I did him smaller first, and then I didn't like that for the size of paper I was using, so I had to redo a sketch larger. So you can see these are actual more developed sketches with more graceful lines than like for the Santa that had more of those jagged lines. Rings on the paper, one that he was hanging in, and others placed throughout, and I tried to do them as much separately as I could so that I could place them along the paper. And I could also cut these into pieces and then place them around on the paper as needed. In this case I didn't need to, but see how many pieces I have just for the one painting. And I also had a little separate piece just for his feet. This is an extinct animal. It was only a taxidermy animal, and its feet were so atrophied that there was nothing in the reference that I could look at that was helping me with that. So I just sort of make up the feet based off of how I know parrots work, and then I decided to sort of figure out based on the size, the angle, and the size and the shape, and I did that by laying it down on top of this already sheer sketch and then making another set of feet on top of that. Okay, so just like when you ghost an image on a piece of paper and you erase it and you can come back and fine tune with your pencil again, you can do the same thing. You can make the drawing underneath the ghost image and put another scrap of paper on top and fix something like a hand or a foot or something that you don't like. And the end piece ended up looking like this. I was able to put my parakeet in at the size I wanted, no longer that smaller size that I wasn't happy with. I placed the feet and did the circles where I wanted them. But see how much harmony that allows for, where I don't have to be a slave to saying, well, I drew this in this spot on one paper and how do I scoot it over? I have to erase it and start over. I can do this very gracefully if I have sketch stacking. I don't use carbon paper or graphite paper. You don't need it. You can flip your sketch over and draw with pencil on the other side, so both sides have pencil. And that way, if you ever need to use it from either side, both sides have pencil. And it makes it so you have a versatile sketch that you can flip over both sides. And also that extra carbon paper and graphite paper that you put on, it does two things that I don't like. One is it gets that mess all over your paper. And the other thing that it does is it doesn't leave your sketch sheer anymore, because then you've got that graphite paper underneath it and you can no longer really see where you're putting it on your paper. So Dulac's way of doing it was to just draw over on the back of it or pounce on it with a little packet of graphite so it still wasn't opaque, and then he could, you know, use both sides. Now you could, if you wanted to, if you're in a hurry, color with your pencil on the back of it like this, and because it's sheer and your drawing is going to be dark enough on the other side, right over that line, and then you would see it's you know, going to transfer. But you're not going to need to do that if you just do the entire line all the way around. And I do tend to do that because I like to flip and move things, so I want to be able to have the flexibility of using this sketch on both sides. Well, Wizards, hope you enjoyed this class, and thanks for honoring me with your time. Check out my website for all my important links on one page to support my art creation and instruction. Thanks for parking your brushes here, and wishing you all epic art adventures.